The humans on the small escape shuttle were tense. Their mission was simple in theory: deliver key scientists to safety before the Zirathi fleet reached them. But simple had never felt so impossible. Outside, the darkness of space stretched endlessly, broken only by the faint glimmer of distant stars and the looming shadow of alien warships tracking their every movement. The shuttle's thin hull vibrated under the pressure of invisible forces as the Zirathi sensors locked on. Lieutenant Mara Jensen gripped the control panel with both hands, her knuckles white. "Captain, they're accelerating. Their weapon systems are charging. If we get caught..." Her voice faltered and she looked toward Captain Reed. Reed's eyes were steady, calm, but sharp. "We won't get caught. Not today. Not while Earth still has a few tricks left." But even as he spoke, his mind raced. He knew the Zirathi expected an escape shuttle, fragile, slow, and helpless. They would have assumed the scientists were defenseless, ready to be captured for interrogation or worse. What they did not know was that Earth had prepared something much bigger. Far behind the shuttle, in the shadow of the solar system, the massive battleship Aegis hung in orbit. Unlike any ship humans had built before, it was a fortress of steel and technology, bristling with weapons and shield systems designed to survive encounters that had destroyed entire fleets in history. It was humanity's deadliest answer to the Zirathi threat, a symbol of human ingenuity, courage, and relentless will. Captain Alex Carter stood on the bridge of the Aegis, staring at the holographic display that mapped the Zirathi fleet. His jaw tightened. Every sensor reading screamed danger. The Zirathi ships were faster, smarter, and far more advanced. But Carter had faith in his crew, and more importantly, in the human mind's ability to think in ways no alien could predict. "Weapons are ready, Captain," reported Commander Singh. "Shields at full. Targeting systems online. All experimental modules calibrated." Carter nodded. "Good. Remember, this is not just a battle. It's a message. Let them see what they thought was weakness is actually humanity's strength." The shuttle sent a brief message, a flicker of signal through the void, confirming their position. The Zirathi noticed it immediately, interpreting it as their prey. Aboard the alien command ship, officers gathered around a glowing console. Their leader, a tall being with glimmering silver skin and piercing blue eyes, sneered. "The humans are predictable. A small shuttle fleeing in terror. Prepare boarding drones. They will be mine before they can even react." But as the Zirathi fleet advanced, a sudden anomaly appeared on their sensors. A massive object, larger and far more powerful than the shuttle, appeared on an intercept course. Confusion spread among the alien ranks. "What is that?" one officer demanded. Their leader's eyes narrowed. "Impossible. That is not a shuttle. Identify immediately." On the bridge of the Aegis, Carter smiled faintly. "Let's show them what Earth really sends when we're cornered." The Aegis accelerated, engines roaring with a sound that, in the emptiness of space, translated into pure force. It moved faster than any human ship of comparable size had ever moved. The Zirathi scrambled to respond, but their systems had never encountered this combination of speed, shields, and weaponry. "Deploy the decoy drones," Carter ordered. "Make them think it's multiple ships." The drones shot forward in patterns designed to confuse the alien targeting systems. The Zirathi fired, energy beams slicing through the empty void, striking nothing but empty space where human ships were supposed to be. On the shuttle, Lieutenant Jensen stared at the display in disbelief. "Captain, that's the Aegis. That's enormous." Reed nodded. "And it's coming for them." The first strike from the Aegis hit the Zirathi fleet like a meteor. A wave of energy bent through space, striking the lead alien ship. The impact was devastating, sending shockwaves through the surrounding fleet. Alarms blared aboard the Zirathi ships as energy shields flared, failing under the unexpected assault. The alien commander roared in frustration. How can a human vessel withstand even a fraction of our power?" Carter's eyes scanned the fleet. "Keep firing. Focus on command ships first. Disrupt their coordination, then we take out the rest." The humans on the shuttle watched, wide-eyed, as entire alien ships erupted in flashes of white light. Explosions ripped through the Zirathi fleet, scattering smaller craft in chaotic spirals. The aliens were forced to adapt, but their tactics, honed over millennia, were still no match for the unpredictable human strategies. "Captain, they're regrouping," Jensen shouted. "Let them," Carter replied. "We'll meet them with the unexpected." The Aegis twisted and turned using gravitational manipulation to redirect energy waves. Alien beams that should have pierced its hull instead missed, striking space debris or harmless void. Small fighter squads launched from the battleship, weaving through enemy formations and striking with precision strikes. Inside the Zirathi command ship, panic spread. The officers shouted at each other in a chorus of alien sounds. They are using deception we have never seen. Their movements are chaotic, but effective. Carter watched the chaos unfold and allowed himself a small, rare smile. He thought of Earth below, of the scientists on that shuttle, and of every human who had ever faced impossible odds. Humanity had survived against starvation, disease, and war on their own planet. Now, in the vastness of space, they were proving the same resilience on a galactic scale. "Prepare the experimental weapon," Carter ordered. "It's time they understand why Earth doesn't send shuttles to negotiate. We send our finest, and we send them to survive." A low hum filled the battleship as energy began to concentrate at the ship's core. The Aegis glowed with a pale, fierce light, radiating power that even the Zirathi sensors struggled to measure. The alien fleet faltered, unsure of what was coming. On the shuttle, Jensen whispered almost to herself, "I never thought humans could do this." Reed placed a hand on her shoulder. "It's not just technology. It's us. We adapt. We fight. We survive." The experimental weapon fired, a beam of pure energy, shaped by gravitational distortions and human ingenuity, streaked across space. It struck a central Zirathi ship, not just destroying it but destabilizing the surrounding fleet. Smaller ships collided, shields failed, and a ripple of confusion spread like wildfire. The alien commander's face turned pale, a rare display of fear. This cannot be. How could they know exactly how to hit us?" Carter leaned forward, voice calm but commanding. "Because we think differently. Because humans don't just fight to survive. We fight to win, even when the odds are impossible." As the first wave of alien ships began to retreat, the Aegis continued its assault, precise and unstoppable. The humans on the shuttle felt a mixture of awe and relief. Their escape mission had become part of something far larger, a declaration that humanity was not weak, not defenseless, and certainly not to be underestimated. But Carter knew this was only the beginning. The Zirathi would not forget this day, and Earth would have to be ready for whatever came next. Still, for the moment, humanity had shown its strength. Against a galaxy that expected them to be prey, they had sent a predator instead. In the void of space, as explosions faded and silence returned, the Aegis moved forward, carrying humanity's message across the stars. The Zirathi would remember this day, not as the day they captured a shuttle, but as the day they underestimated humans and paid the price. And somewhere on the small escape shuttle, the scientists looked out at the massive battleship, realizing that survival had never felt so certain. Not because of luck or chance, or even alien technology, but because humans, in the face of impossible odds, never gave up. As the first part of this conflict came to a close, the stars themselves seemed to acknowledge humanity's triumph. Against every expectation, against every prediction, Earth had sent its deadliest battleship, and for the Zirathi, this was only the beginning of a lesson they would never forget. The remnants of the Zirathi fleet were in chaos. Their command ships were destroyed. Smaller vessels scattered in confusion, and morale was shattered. Yet despite the overwhelming losses, the aliens were not yet defeated. Their instincts, honed over countless centuries of war, urged them to strike back with precision, to find weaknesses, and exploit them. Captain Alex Carter of the Aegis understood this. He watched the holographic displays carefully, analyzing every movement of the enemy. His crew moved with disciplined efficiency, executing maneuvers that were both precise and unpredictable. Humanity had no intention of letting the Zirathi regroup. "Enemy ships are attempting to form a defensive line," Commander Singh reported. "They are slower, but their weapon systems are still active. If we are not careful, they could focus fire on our flanks." Carter's hands rested lightly on the console. "Let them focus. They think they have the advantage. That's when we strike hardest." The first wave of human fighters launched, darting between the scattered alien ships like lightning. Each fighter was guided by an advanced AI system linked directly to the Aegis, capable of making split-second calculations faster than any human pilot could. These fighters didn't just attack, they predicted, anticipated, and countered every move the aliens made. From the Zirathi perspective, it was horrifying. "They are coordinating as one," an officer muttered. "We cannot anticipate their patterns. It is unnatural." The alien commander's face twisted in anger. "Send everything forward. Focus on the battleship. Destroy it, or our fleet is lost." The Zirathi ships fired in unison, beams of energy slicing through the void, colliding with the Aegis shields in showers of sparks and light. But the battleship had been engineered for this exact scenario. Its shields bent and absorbed energy in ways that confounded the alien sensors. The Aegis twisted, changed trajectory, and sent small countermeasures to mislead enemy targeting systems. One by one, Zirathi weapons found nothing but empty space. On board the Aegis, the atmosphere was tense but confident. Human crews moved with purpose, each member knowing their role. Engineers monitored the ship's core, ensuring that experimental systems remained stable. Weapons officers lined up their targets, preparing the next volley of attacks. "Prepare the gravity lances," Carter ordered. "Use them on the command ships." Gravity lances were humanity's secret weapon, developed after years of observing alien technology. They could manipulate gravitational fields in localized areas, crushing ships without leaving a trace of energy residue. When the Aegis fired, entire Zirathi command vessels were bent and twisted in space, unable to resist the invisible force. The effect was immediate. The remaining Zirathi ships faltered, collisions sending some ships careening into each other. Panic spread across the fleet. Their command structure was failing. Without leaders to coordinate them, the aliens' superior technology became less effective. On the shuttle, Lieutenant Mara Jensen watched the battle unfold, her eyes wide. I never imagined humans could do this," she whispered. Captain Reed nodded, equally astonished. Carter knew the victory was not yet complete. The Zirathi still had numbers, still had advanced weapons, and they would not surrender easily. He needed a strategy to end the conflict decisively without unnecessary losses. "Deploy the swarm drones," he said. "Use them to create confusion and divide their forces." Hundreds of small drones erupted from the Aegis, each one capable of emitting electromagnetic pulses and holographic projections. The Zirathi sensors went haywire, unable to distinguish between real ships and decoys. Their fleet scattered further, falling into traps laid out by the human battleship. A squadron of human fighters swooped through the chaos, targeting the most dangerous alien vessels. They moved with speed and precision, dodging energy blasts and striking with pinpoint accuracy. Every move was calculated yet unpredictable, making it impossible for the Zirathi to anticipate human tactics. From the alien command ship, the leader watched in disbelief. "How can a single species be so adaptive? We cannot match them. Every attack we make is countered." Carter leaned back in his chair, calm but determined. "Humans don't just fight with power. We fight with our minds. We think differently. And when you underestimate us, that is when you lose." The Zirathi launched a desperate attack on the Aegis flanks, sending the last of their heavy cruisers to concentrate fire. The battleship shuddered under the impact, but its reinforced armor held. Carter activated the experimental energy matrix, a system designed to absorb and redirect massive amounts of energy. The enemy beams were reflected back in chaotic patterns, striking their own ships. Chaos engulfed the Zirathi fleet. Command vessels exploded, cruisers collided, and smaller ships were crushed by gravitational distortions. The humans on the Aegis moved through the battle with calm efficiency, each strike precise, each decision deliberate. "Captain, their retreat route is exposed," Singh reported. "We can cut them off completely." Carter considered it for a moment. "No. Let them retreat, but make sure they never forget this lesson. Follow them, disable their engines, and leave their fleet inoperable. They must remember that Earth does not negotiate with fear. We respond with strength." The Aegis moved with unstoppable force, intercepting the fleeing Zirathi ships. Gravity lances, energy volleys, and swarm drones forced the aliens into a slow, desperate retreat. The human fighters pursued them, striking at key points, crippling engines, and scattering ships further. As the last Zirathi cruiser fled beyond sensor range, silence fell across the battlefield. The void of space, once alive with energy blasts and explosions, was now calm. The humans had won. On the bridge of the Aegis, Carter allowed himself a rare moment of reflection. "They underestimated us," he said quietly. "And that was their greatest mistake. The scientists on the shuttle, now safely orbiting a nearby moon, watched the aftermath. They had fled expecting vulnerability, expecting fear. Instead, they had witnessed a full demonstration of humanity's ingenuity, courage, and adaptability. Captain Reed turned to Jensen. This is why humans survive. Not just because we have ships or weapons or technology, but because we never give up. We think, we adapt, and we fight in ways no one expects. The Zirathi would not forget this encounter. Reports of their defeat would echo across the galaxy, reshaping the way other civilizations viewed humanity. For the first time, a species that had been underestimated, mocked, and dismissed now stood as a formidable power. Carter addressed his crew. Prepare for a return to Earth, report the victory. But remember, this is only the beginning. The galaxy will watch us now, and we must continue to be ready for whatever comes next. We have shown strength, but we must also remain vigilant. Engineer Patel spoke from her station. Captain, the experimental systems performed beyond expectations. The Aegis is ready for future battles. Carter smiled. Good. Let's make sure we stay unpredictable. That's humanity's edge. We survive where others would fail. We fight when others flee. And we adapt when others cannot. As the battleship moved through space, trailing the wreckage of the Zirathi fleet, the stars seemed to shine a little brighter. Humanity had sent its deadliest battleship instead of a shuttle, and in doing so, had sent a message to the galaxy: underestimate humans at your own peril. In the aftermath, the Zirathi would analyze, adapt, and learn, but they would never fully understand the human mind, the combination of courage, creativity, and unpredictability that had turned the tide of the battle. Every strategy they had used was countered not by technology alone, but by human ingenuity. The scientists on the shuttle finally relaxed. They knew Earth had not only saved them, but had also made a statement. Humanity was no longer a species to be overlooked. The Aegis had demonstrated what humans could achieve when cornered, when underestimated, and when fighting for survival. Carter looked at the distant stars, thinking about what lay ahead. The galaxy will challenge us, he said quietly, but they will also learn that humans never fight like anyone else. We fight to survive, to protect, and to win, and no matter what comes next, we will always find a way. For the Zirathi, the battle had ended in defeat. For humanity, it was a beginning, an announcement to the cosmos that Earth was prepared, united, and unafraid. The deadliest battleship had spoken, and its voice carried across the void. Humanity would not be ignored. And somewhere in the darkness of space, the scattered Zirathi ships fled, their minds forever marked by the lesson that humans, when pushed, were far deadlier than any of them had imagined.